Coming up on this Friday edition of Daybreak, President Park Geun-hye will continue her sales diplomacy when she attends the APEC and ASEAN-plus-three leaders summits and visits Indonesia next week. She will seek greater cooperation with the ASEAN region. Washington officially throws its support behind Tokyo's moves to beef up its defense capabilities, including exercising its right to collective self-defense. The Abe administration's push to revive its constitution to gain the right has angered its neighbors in the region. Plus, Asia's largest film festival kicks off in Korea's southeastern port city of Busan. More than 300 movies from 70 countries will be shown at the annual event. Daybreak begins now.
You're watching Daybreak on Friday, October 4th, and I'm Choi-Yusun in Seoul. President Park Geun-hye embarks on an 8-day trip to Indonesia and Brunei on Sunday, where she will carry on the so-called sales diplomacy at the APEC and ASEAN-plus-three summits and during her state visit to Indonesia. Our presidential correspondent Oh Jin-ju has the details.
President Park's first destination in her trip to the Southeast Asian region will be Bali, Indonesia. On Monday and Tuesday, President Park will take part in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC Summit, where she will discuss ways to achieve sustainable growth and promote the connectivity of transportation, regulations, and personnel in the region. The president will then fly over to Bandar Seri Begawan, Brunei, to take part in the Korea-ASEAN, ASEAN-plus-three, and East Asia summits. There, President Park is expected to seek ways to further strengthen economic cooperation with 10 ASEAN member countries. ASEAN has become Korea's key economic partner as the second-largest market in bilateral trade for Korea and the biggest market for Korean investment. During the East Asia Summit on Thursday, the leaders of 18 countries, including ASEAN-plus-three countries, Australia, New Zealand, India, the U.S., and Russia, will discuss ways to work together in countering global issues such as climate change and natural disasters. Now, on the sidelines of these multilateral summits in Bali and Bandar Seri Begawan, President Park is expected to hold bilateral talks with some of the leaders. However, the final list of who she will meet has yet to be confirmed. President Park will arrive in Jakarta, Indonesia on Thursday evening for a 3-day state visit. On Saturday, President Park is scheduled to hold a bilateral summit with Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono and seek ways to strengthen and expand the two countries' cooperation in future industries, including energy, environment, and forestry. This year marks the 40th anniversary since the two countries established diplomatic ties. The presidential office of Cheongwon said that President Park's state visit to Indonesia reflects her economic emphasis on the ASEAN region, which has emerged as a so-called post-BRICS bloc and falls in line with her push for sales diplomacy. Oh Jin-ju, Arirang News.
The United States and Japan agreed to broaden their security alliance when their foreign and defense ministers met in Tokyo on Thursday. Following the 2+2 meeting, the ministers issued a joint statement calling for the construction of a new missile defense radar system in Japan and the deployment of U.S. drone aircraft. In particular, the agreement supports the exercise of Japan's right to collective self-defense, which allows Japan to launch a counterattack if an ally is attacked. This conflicts with Article 9 of Japan's constitution, and the two nations agreed to complete drawing up a new defense guideline in 2014, which is expected to include the reinterpretation of Japan's constitution. And that move will likely anger Japan's neighbors, including Korea and China. Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida also told his U.S. counterparts that Japan has done its best to address historical issues with Korea. The head of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, has warned that failure to raise the U.S. debt ceiling this month would pose a bigger threat to the global economy than the current U.S. government shutdown. Speaking ahead of the fund's annual meeting in Washington next week, Lagarde said that the U.S. government needed to fix its finances for the long term. Unless the debt ceiling is raised, Washington will run out of cash to pay its bills on October 17th, which the U.S. Treasury says could lead to a financial crisis as bad as 2008 or even worse. The shutdown, set to enter its fourth day, has left more than 700,000 employees on unpaid leave and closed national parks, office buildings, and government websites. And staying in Washington, police say an incident Thursday in which a female driver rammed the security barricades at the entrance to the White House with a car was an isolated incident, not terrorism related. The incident resulted in a high-speed police chase which ended in gunfire. The condition of the suspect is not clear at this point. New data shows more of Korea's underground economy may be on the books amid stronger efforts by the government to regulate illegal activity. The Bank of Korea says just under 90% of purchases in the private sector last year had been made either by credit card, debit card, or cash receipt, an increase of 30% over the last 5 years. That means the majority of purchases in the private sector are now traceable, which could help the government in regulating the underground economy. The central bank also said the country's credit card spending hit a 10-year high in July, increasing 10% from the same month last year to 30.8 trillion won, or roughly $35.3 billion US dollars.
If you want the latest news from Korea and around the world.
Return to the negotiations.
President Park Geun-hye, given the current circumstances.
On your way to work or at home.
Defense Ministry. The legislature will convene a...
Tune into Daybreak on Arirang TV.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Tuesday. Asia's largest film festival, the Pusan International Film Festival, kicked off Thursday evening with a grand opening ceremony. Our cultural correspondent Park Ji-won reports from Busan.
Dozens of Korean and international movie stars, filmmakers or celebrities graced the red carpet on Thursday evening and were greeted by thousands of cheering fans at the opening ceremony of the 18th Busan International Film Festival. The opening ceremony started at 7 p.m. Korea time at the Busan Cinema Center near Haeundae Beach. This year's opening film is the Bhutanese film Vara, a Blessing, that tells a story of dance, belief, and devotion. Tickets for the film sold out in just 43 seconds online. At a press conference, actors and producers of the film showed their excitement over it being selected to open the festival.
We're really happy to be here opening this really great festival, the Busan Film Festival. And we're aware that this is the first time that a non-Korean, non-Chinese film is opening the festival, and it's really a very, very great honor for all of us.
The festival is now Asia's largest international film festival and serves as a window for introducing talented Asian films to the world. And while the festival is still loyal to its mission, it's also attempting this year to include more non-Asian experimental films to truly expand the festival's horizons.
We have a competition section called Flash Forward last year. It was for non-Asian filmmakers, and that numbers increased from 12 to 30.
The 10-day festival ends next Saturday with a screening of Korean director Kim Dong-hyun's film, The Dinner, at the closing ceremony. And on the sideline of the festival, the Asian film market and the BIF conference and forum are being held to further facilitate networking among film professionals. Park Ji-won, Arirang News, Busan.
Paju Book City, just north of Seoul, is home to some 300 local publishing houses, and it's playing host to an annual book-themed festival. Our Paul Lee reports how the Book Fest focuses on Asian literature and authors this year.
The 2013 Paju Book Story Festival is in full swing here in Gyeonggi Province, just north of Seoul. The Book Theme Festival is celebrating its third anniversary at Paju Book City, where hundreds of Korea's leading publishing houses have come together to create a truly unique literary environment. Visitors are able to browse to their heart's content through a massive catalog of domestic books, ebooks, audiobooks, and much more. Lectures, concerts, and a symposium on literature are also being held, featuring 30 famous figures in the literary world from 16 countries. President Park Geun-hye came out to show her support for the book fair, where she engaged with publishers and encouraged officials to further promote the nation's content industry. Special exhibits are showcasing historical geographical maps and astronomy charts from around the world, which date back as far as the 15th century. Organizers this year are focusing on increasing readership with book clubs and mentoring programs to ensure a vibrant future for the industry.
Writers, readers, and people who make books. Together we are participating to celebrate this event. Programs like these, I believe, need to be further strengthened as we move forward.
The Paju Book Festival runs through October 6th, with high hopes of attracting local and international book lovers, as well as inspiring a new generation of writers. Paul Yi, Arirang News.
Chuseok, one of Korea's biggest traditional holidays, has passed, and it's now China's turn to enjoy an extended break that celebrates the founding of the People's Republic of China. Our Hwang Jie has the details on the tens of thousands of Chinese tourists who are flocking to Korea's resort island of Jeju to celebrate their Golden Week.
This is a five-star hotel in downtown Jeju. It's a popular lodging among Chinese tourists, but it's been even busier this week since China's 7-day-long national holiday kicked off.
The ratio of Chinese guests and Korean guests at our hotel is usually about 50-50. This week, 80% of our guests are Chinese tourists.
The story is similar for other hotels on Korea's southern resort island, with the booking rate during the holiday season reaching over 80%. The booking rate of nearly 120 international flights to Jeju Island also stands at 80% over the period, while an international cruise ship will enter the port of Jeju 5 times. Jeju's Tourism Association says that 70,000 Chinese tourists are expected to visit the island from this week until next Monday, when the holiday ends, up 46% from the same period a year ago. While the popularity of Jeju Island among Chinese tourists is rooted in the scenic beauty of the World Heritage Site, the improved accessibility to the island also factors in.
Jeju's provincial government and the Tourism Association have expanded the number of regular flights to Jeju to 50 per day, and the number of cruise ships has also increased threefold, making it easier for people to visit.
Duty-free shops in Korea are also expecting sales to rise during China's national holiday, while the overall tourism industry, that includes aviation and car rental services, are anticipating increased demand. Hwang Jie, Arirang News.
The blue skies and the cool breeze of autumn are prompting people here in Korea to get out of the house and take advantage of the weather before winter rears its ugly head on the peninsula. Kim Hyun-bin reports on where Koreans are going and what they're doing during this autumn season.
A calm fall breeze, moderate temperatures, and clear skies. The conditions are ideal these days for people who want to enjoy what the great outdoors has to offer. On Jeju Island, fall is a popular time to go horseback riding. And even though this man's vision is impaired, he doesn't hesitate to hop on the saddle.
Riding a horse with the breeze gives me a workout, and I feel in sync with nature.
Rain showers create a beautiful rainbow. Kids fall while running around, but forget about the pain. A lot of people are sitting underneath trees, enjoying the shade.
The weather is very nice. Our family ate good food and we are enjoying the nice weather.
On the mountain trails, people are out enjoying the atmosphere. The atmosphere did not fully bring the fall colors, but there are signs of fall foliage.
The weather is nice, especially because it's fall. I hiked for about 4 hours and feel like a new man.
With more great weather in the forecast, expect more and more families and couples to head outside to build memories. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
And let's now turn to Reuters to see what other stories are making headlines around the world.
They were seeking a better life, and now for many of the migrants, the journey ended in a watery death. More than 100 are feared dead, and hundreds are still missing after a boat sank off the southern Italian island of Lampedusa. Hundreds of migrants, most either Eritreans or Somalis, had packed onto a small boat from Libya. When the boat's motor stopped working and began taking in water, people on board burned a sheet to attract the attention of rescuers. It started a fire on board. At the Vatican, Pope Francis calls the tragedy a disgrace.
I cannot mention without great dismay the numerous victims of the latest tragic shipwreck which occurred today off the coast of Lampedusa. The word that comes to my mind is disgrace. It is a disgrace. Let us pray together for those who have lost their lives, the men, women, children, and their relatives, for all the refugees. Let us unite our efforts so that tragedies like this may not be repeated. Only a determined collaboration of everyone can help prevent them.
African migrants frequently head for Lampedusa. They're often picked up at sea in dangerously overcrowded boats by the Italian Coast Guard. The stream of migrants is a humanitarian and political problem for the Italian government. Last year, more than 13,000 reached Italy. Thousands more arrived this year. Now, for many, it is their final journey.
Meet the men of Pakistan's Hurt Locker, a bomb disposal unit in Peshawar. And here's how they detonate explosive devices. With some aging detonator cord confiscated from the Taliban shoved into a water bottle, and tape. This low-cost and extremely dangerous method is symptomatic of a larger problem, a police unit severely lacking in funds and manpower to handle the overwhelming demand. As the head of Pakistan's bomb disposal unit explains, there's no money for supplies, let alone competitive salaries to entice volunteers.
One reason that the terrain and that the job is very difficult. And second is they are not having the extra benefits or privileges or something in shape of monetary benefits.
The bomb disposal unit in Peshawar also has a handful of bomb suits, sniffer dogs, and remote-controlled bomb disposal robots. But the equipment is spread over the entire province, which is huge and remote. What's left for Peshawar, a favorite target of militants, is hardly adequate. Since 2001, more than half of the $30 billion U.S. given to Pakistan has gone to the military, not to the local police who are responsible for bomb disposals.
And TGI Friday, everyone, as we kick things off with the big event set to take place later today. That's right, it's time for the Formula One Korea Grand Prix set to begin at Yeongnam's Korea International Circuit. Now, of course, on the first day, the first practice round will take place as the drivers get adjusted to the circuit once again. The qualifying rounds begin on Saturday with the final race taking place on Sunday. It seems like if the weather forecast holds true, it might be another wet race as it's forecast to rain on Sunday. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, Red Bull Racing look to win his third straight Korea Grand Prix this year. And moving on to the KBL, 2 more days of the regular season left as the LG Twins beat the Hanwha Eagles at the bottom of the 10th inning 1-0 with the SK Wyverns beating the Nexen Heroes 10-6. So with that said, let's take a look at the other two games that took place, starting off with the Samsung Lions taking on the Lotte Giants. Now we go over to the first inning of the game. Here's Hwang Jae-gyun with a 2-run double to deep left center field as Lotte takes an early 2-0 lead. Second inning, Woo Dong-gyun at bat and he drills this one to deep right field. Gane solo shot cuts the deficit to 2-1. Shifting to the fifth inning of the game, here's Chun Jin-woo at bat. Kim Sa-hoon scores on a wild pitch and it's 3-1. Sixth inning of the game, check this out. Park Sung-min crushes this ball to deep left field. There he goes, back, solo shot makes it 3-2. Before this next play, Chae Young-woo does it as well with a back-to-back solo shot to right field, and we have a tie ball game. But in the bottom of the inning, Kim Dae-woo at bat with an RBI single here to right field gives the Lotte Giants the lead once again. Seventh inning of the game, here's Hwang Jae-gyun once again with an RBI double to left field. Extends the lead here before Cho Hong-suk. He's going to ground out to second base, and in comes Chun Jin-woo to score. But we're not done yet. Shin Bong-gi this time, and this one's going to be an RBI single to right, gives the Lotte Giants the 7-3 lead. Now Samsung would storm back as the game is tied 7-7 in the bottom of the ninth inning, but Cho Sung-hwan singles to right center here. That's your game winner. Lotte takes this game 8-7. And next up, the Tucson Bears taking on the Kia Tigers. First inning is where all the action is as OJ singles in the first run of the game. Before this next play here, Hong Sung-hoon makes it 2-0 with an RBI single to right center field. Next play, Lee Won-suk, a sac fly to right field, gives the Tucson Bears the early 3-0 lead. But in the bottom of the inning, bases loaded for Park Geun-hye here. An RBI single makes it 3-1. Before this next play, Lee Dong-hoon draws the walk as Lee Bum-ho comes in to score. Next up, Lee Hong-gi at bat and he drills this one to deep left field. There it goes, a grand salami for Lee Hong-gi, and Kia takes the lead 6-3. Next inning, Oh Jae-il with the bases loaded draws the walk, and it's now 6-4. Kia going into the ninth inning with the lead, but Hong Sung-hoon with a lucky base hit drives in another run before Chung Soo-bin, the hero of the game, 2-run single as the Tucson Bears come back to take this game 7-6. All right, so there are 2 days left in the regular season in the KBO, just like I mentioned, but we still have no idea who's going to finish second, third, and fourth. After Thursday, the LG Twins have a half-game lead over the Tucson Bears, who are tied with the Nexen Heroes at third place. Now, later today, the Nexen Heroes play Kia Tigers and the LG Twins, and the Tucson Bears face off on Saturday to close off the season, so a very close race to the finish. All right, so finishing things off in football, it seems like the 2022 World Cup in Qatar might be heading into a Winter World Cup for the first time ever, as FIFA stated that it seems to be the only option. That during the next 3 to 6 months, 25 executive committee of FIFA will be deciding the fate of the World Cup, as all signs point to a possible shift in date. Now, despite the promising air-conditioned stadiums, the 50-plus degree weather during the summertime will not make a difference and could be dangerous to the players. Meanwhile, more controversy in Qatar as the latest investigation reveals shocking allegations of mistreatment of Nepalese migrant workers, as 44 workers died at the construction sites from June to August. And with that said, that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Happy Friday, I'm Lee Ji-hyun with your latest weather forecast. Well, didn't we have a picture-perfect weather across the nation yesterday? It was a bit chilly and windy, but still, it was wonderful. And it seemed like a lot of people took advantage of the nice weather yesterday, which was a public holiday because there were far less traffic on the city roads. But even if you didn't get to enjoy the fine weather, don't worry. Another pleasant weather is in store for today, with afternoon highs slightly higher than yesterday. In fact, this incredible, beautiful weather will persist till tomorrow, and daytime highs will rise further, with Seoul seeing temperatures rise to 27 degrees Celsius. That's 5 degrees higher than the season norms. So a perfect day to go out and check out some of the festivals that will be held on the weekend. Well, right now there are hardly any clouds are hovering over our nations, and the high pressure system in the east will continue to bring sunny skies and delightful weather conditions throughout the day across the nation. Now the sun is supposed to come up at 6:30 a.m. this morning, so it should be rising right now out there, and the morning lows will be in the same range as yesterday. So let's take a closer look at those readings. The morning lows in Seoul and Gwangju are starting out at 11, but afternoon highs will get up to 25 degrees in Seoul and Pusan, while Gwangju and Daegu will peak at 26. Now let's see how other regions are looking. It looks like Jeju and Daejeon will have similar afternoon highs reaching 24 and 25, while Mount Kumgang will have another chilly, breezy, and sunny day. Now that's all for Korea, and here's the global forecast for viewers around the world.
And that does it for this Friday edition of Daybreak. Stay with us throughout the day as we bring you the latest headlines.